year with new music by both Chopin and Mozart is such a rare thing. In Chopin's case, I had the impression that there was some interesting material, but it wasn't really a piece of music like you would play in a concert. It was probably meant as a gift or a keepsake to a friend or acquaintance of his. And as such, it certainly has Chopin's personality in every respect, from the musical materials right down to the handwriting. My sense is that the work is a promising fragment. It has a very auspicious, fiery opening. Suggesting a piece of some much greater scale. And there's also an attractive ending with a lot of tonic pedal points. Again, that suggests the ending of a much longer piece. Both of these, though, are products, certainly, of Chopin's unique genius. What happens between these two fine materials, however, is a rather awkward gap, what we would call a compositional seam, like a bad tailoring job. It's the kind of thing that a really good performer can figure out how to cover up and hide, but it's not something you expect from such a great composer. That means that Chopin had brilliant ideas, but for whatever reason, he just never got around to crafting a complete and satisfying composition. Since the opening and the ending of the piece are already so compelling, what this composition lacks, in my view, is a middle, which I view needs to be actually the bulk of the piece. So I decided to write something Chopin-like to go with the existing material, something that's attractive enough to complement it and show it in its best light. I hope that a music-loving viewer who's familiar with the original Chopin will feel very satisfied when it appears well prepared at the end of my piece, and not just because the real Chopin is too obviously better than the fake Chopin that I put in the middle. My composition makes reference to some other well-known pieces. I was aware of that while I was composing, and some were deliberate, but others were unconscious. These include the wonderful Mazurka, Opus 24, number 4 in B-flat minor, the second Ballade, and the Waltz in A minor, which is Opus 34, number 2. Perhaps it's the tonality and the mood, but the listener might also think of Mozart's A minor rondo or even Beethoven's Für Elise. If the feeling you get is one of pastiche, that's entirely in the spirit of Chopin, who was known to have been a great mimic, and one who wrote pieces of that ilk. They were published posthumously, such as the Fantasy Impromptu. To be quite honest, Chopin's own melodic gesture that he uses at the end of the piece you could say that he stole that from his own first Mazurka, which, if I played it in the same key, goes like this. I should make one note about the rocking octave passage that I use a lot to connect the sections in this piece, and finally to reintroduce Chopin's original waltz at the end. These octaves connect parts of the work that you might imagine happening at very different time scales, if you're imagining it in a historical sense, as if you wiped away the dust of history and you found this very old sheet of music paper. They're connected motivically to the original. First of all, to the rather inauspicious seeming octave descent at the opening. And then also to the rather unusual decorative figuration that he uses in his melody. I was happy to have the opportunity to make a creative response to this original Chopin, and I hope you'll enjoy my composition.